My friend, let me ask you a question. What is the difference between people who dream and people who achieve? Between those who stay small and those who rise to greatness? It is not always money, not always education, not even luck. The secret is confidence. Confidence is the bridge that takes you from who you are to who you can become. Without confidence, talent is silent. Without confidence, knowledge is wasted. Without confidence, even big dreams die quietly in the corner of your heart. But here is the truth. Nobody is born confident. Every confident person you see today once stood where you are, afraid, uncertain, full of doubt. Confidence is not a gift. It is a habit. It is built like a muscle, brick by brick, moment by moment, choice by choice. Think about the world's most powerful people, billionaires, leaders, creators. Do you think they never felt fear? Of course they did. Elon Musk was laughed at when he said he wanted to build rockets and electric cars. Oprah Winfrey was told she would never be good enough for television. Jack Ma was rejected dozens of times, even from small jobs like KFC. Yet all of them built unshakable confidence. They turned rejection into power, failure into learning, and fear into fuel. This video is about that journey. Together, we will go through 7 chapters, 7 powerful ways to build your confidence, inspired by real stories of people who started small and rose to greatness. By the end, you will see that confidence is not a secret that belongs only to the rich and famous. It is something you can build, starting today, in your own life. So stay with me, listen carefully, and imagine your own life changing as you apply these steps. This is not just about learning English, not just about money, not just about success. This is about becoming the confident version of yourself that the world cannot ignore. My friend, are you ready? Let's begin. Chapter 1: Failures Are Lessons, the story of Jack Ma. When we talk about building confidence, the very first lesson is this: failure is not the end, it is the beginning. Most people run away from failure, they hide from mistakes, they feel ashamed when life tells them no. But the truth is, every confident person you admire today was once a failure. The difference is, they did not stop. They used their failure as a teacher, and every rejection made them stronger. Let me tell you the story of Jack Ma, because his life is one of the greatest examples of how failure builds confidence. Today, Jack Ma is a billionaire. He is the founder of Alibaba, one of the largest e-commerce companies in the world. He stands on big stages, gives speeches in English, and people listen to his every word. But if you look at his early life, you will see something very different. Jack Ma grew up poor in China. He was not a top student. In fact, he failed many times in school. He tried to enter university, but he failed the entrance exam. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Imagine the embarrassment, the frustration, the shame. People whispered, "He is not smart. He will never succeed." Most people would have given up at this point, but Jack Ma did not. He kept trying. He learned something powerful. Failure does not kill you, it teaches you. Later, when he tried to find a job, he was rejected again and again. The most famous story is about KFC. When KFC opened in his city, 24 people applied for jobs. 23 were accepted. Only 1 was rejected. That one person was Jack Ma. Think about it. He was not even good enough to be hired at a fast food restaurant. Anyone else would have said, "I am useless. I will stop trying." But Jack Ma did not. He told himself, Every no I hear will only push me closer to the day I hear yes. This is where confidence begins, not in success, but in failure. Because failure tests you. Failure asks, will you stop or will you continue? And every time you continue, you build confidence. Jack Ma learned this lesson deeply. He applied for jobs, he applied for schools, he applied for opportunities, and each time he was rejected, he used it to grow his inner strength. But here is the key. Jack Ma did not let failure define him. He redefined failure. Instead of saying, I failed because I am weak, he said, I failed because I am learning. Instead of crying about rejection, he laughed about it. In interviews, Jack Ma would say, I was rejected so many times, but that gave me courage. Notice the change. What broke most people made him stronger. That is confidence. Now let us pause here and think about your life. How many times have you failed? Maybe you failed in school. Maybe you tried to learn English and people laughed at your pronunciation. Maybe you wanted to start a business, but it did not work. Maybe you applied for jobs and they told you, sorry, not this time. You see, failure is part of all our lives. The question is, how do you see it? Do you see it as the end or as the beginning? Do you see it as proof that you are not good enough? Or do you see it as training to become stronger? Jack Ma is proof that confidence is built in the fire of failure. Every rejection he faced gave him another chance to practice courage. Every door that closed forced him to knock on another one. By the time he built Alibaba, he was no longer afraid of hearing no, because he had heard it 1,000 times before. And that, my friend, is the heart of confidence. You stop fearing failure because you know failure will not destroy you. So here is the lesson of chapter 1. Embrace your failures. Do not run from them. Do not hide from them. When life says no, smile and say, thank you for teaching me. When people reject you, tell yourself, this rejection is not my end. It is my training. Remember the boy who was rejected 23 times. Remember how that boy turned into a billionaire who speaks to the world. Confidence is not born when everything goes right. Confidence is born when everything goes wrong, and you keep moving anyway. Failures are not your enemy. They are your teacher, your stepping stones, your hidden gifts. Build confidence by standing up every time you fall. Like Jack Ma, one day you will look back and say, thank you to all my failures, because without them, I would not be me. Chapter 2. Confidence is built through failure, not avoiding it. When most people think about confidence, they imagine someone who never fails, who always knows the right answer, who walks into a room and everyone listens. But the truth is very different. Confidence is not the absence of failure. It is the ability to face failure, learn from it, and keep going. Billionaires, the people we admire for their success, are not superhuman. They simply refused to let failure break their spirit. They turned mistakes into lessons, rejections into motivation, and pain into growth. Let's take the story of Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. Today, he is one of the richest men on earth. But do you know how many failures Amazon had in the beginning? Bezos tried many projects that completely failed. Amazon once launched a product called Amazon Auctions to compete with eBay. It failed. They tried another idea called Amazon Fire Phone in 2014. It was a total disaster, losing the company almost $200 million. But did Bezos stop? No. Instead, he said something powerful. If you're going to invent, you're going to fail. If you're going to build something new, you have to be willing to be misunderstood for a long time. This mindset is the foundation of confidence, accepting failure as a normal part of growth. Think about it. If you avoid failure, you will also avoid success, because success is always hiding behind risk. A person with no confidence is afraid to try because they fear looking stupid, making mistakes, or being rejected. But a confident person is willing to risk embarrassment because they know every mistake brings them closer to strength. For example, when Bezos was starting Amazon, many people laughed at him. They said, "Why would anyone buy books online?" But he believed in his vision, and even though he failed many times, he didn't give up. That's why Amazon became a trillion-dollar company. Another great story is Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba. Jack Ma is one of the most inspiring examples of confidence through failure. He applied for 30 jobs after college and was rejected from all of them, including KFC. Out of 24 people who applied for KFC, 23 got hired. Jack Ma was the only one rejected. Imagine how painful that is. He was also rejected from Harvard University 10 times. Most people would have given up and said, "I'm not good enough." But Jack Ma kept going. He built Alibaba, one of the largest e-commerce companies in the world. Today, he is worth billions, but he never forgets how failure shaped his confidence. He once said, "If you don't give up, you still have a chance." Giving up is the greatest failure. So here is the lesson for you. If you want to build confidence, don't run away from failure. Welcome it. Confidence is like a muscle. Every time you fail and try again, that muscle grows stronger. Every rejection is proof that you are moving forward. Confidence is not about winning every time. It's about standing up one more time than you fall down. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall hundreds of times before they can walk smoothly. But do they stop after falling? No. They keep trying until they succeed. That's exactly how confidence works in life. If you allow failure to stop you, you will never walk. But if you see failure as training, as practice, you will build unshakable confidence. So ask yourself today, what am I afraid to try because I might fail? Maybe it's learning English, starting a business, speaking in public, or applying for a new job. Whatever it is, remind yourself, failure is not the enemy. Fear of failure is. Real billionaires, real confident people, keep failing forward until success has no choice but to come. Chapter 3. Confidence grows from small wins, not big victories. Most people think confidence comes when you achieve something huge, like making $1 million, building a company, or giving a perfect speech. But the truth is, confidence is not built in one big moment. It is built step by step through small wins that slowly make you believe in yourself. Confidence is a process, not an event. Every time you push yourself a little bit, every time you finish something small, you are adding a brick to the foundation of your self-belief. Let's look at the story of Elon Musk. Today, he is known for Tesla, SpaceX, and being one of the richest men alive. But if you study his life carefully, you will see that his confidence came from small wins, not sudden big success. When he was young, Elon learned computer programming by himself. At age 12, he built a simple video game called Blastar, and sold it for $500. That is not a billion-dollar success, but it was his first small win. That small win gave him confidence. If I can build one small thing, maybe I can build something bigger. Later, when he started Zip2, his first company, it wasn't easy. He faced rejection from investors and slept in his office. But every little progress, every small customer he got, gave him confidence to continue. Those small wins stacked on top of each other until one day he had the courage to take on massive projects like sending rockets to space. The same is true for Oprah Winfrey, one of the most powerful women in the world. She did not start with her own TV network or billions of dollars. Her journey began with small wins. She grew up in poverty, facing abuse and rejection. At age 19, she got her first small job as a radio host. It wasn't glamorous, but it was her first step. Then she got a small role as a news anchor, even though people criticized her looks and said she didn't belong on TV. Each small opportunity was a win. Every time she proved herself in those small roles, her confidence grew. Over time, those wins multiplied, and eventually she became the Oprah the world knows today. Here is the truth. If you wait for a big victory to feel confident, you will wait forever. Because big victories are rare, but small wins are everywhere. The key is to recognize them and let them fuel your confidence. For example, if you are learning English, don't wait until you are fluent to feel proud. Celebrate when you learn 10 new words. Celebrate when you say one full sentence correctly. Those are small wins, but together they build real confidence. Think about going to the gym. The first day, you cannot lift heavy weights. But if you lift a small weight today, and tomorrow, and the next day, your strength grows. Confidence works the same way. Every small success adds up. Billionaires don't wake up one day with unshakable confidence. They built it brick by brick, win by win. Another story is Warren Buffett, the legendary investor. As a child, Warren was so shy that he was terrified to speak in public. He even avoided classes in college that required presentations. But then he decided to take a public speaking course with Dale Carnegie. His first small win was just standing up and saying a few words without freezing. That small win gave him confidence to try again. Later, he spoke in front of small groups and eventually in front of thousands. Today, he is one of the most respected speakers in the world. His confidence didn't come from being born fearless. It came from small wins that built his courage step by step. So here's the lesson for you. Stop waiting for the big victory. Start collecting small wins every day. Want to build confidence? Speak one new word in English today. Try saying hello to a stranger. Apply for a small job. Post one video online, even if it's not perfect. Each action may feel small, but it's like a drop of water filling a bucket. One day, that bucket overflows. And that's when you realize you are confident. Remember this powerful truth. Confidence is built in private long before it shows in public. The world sees the billionaire standing on stage, but they don't see the years of small wins behind the scenes. They don't see the nights of practice, the hundreds of rejections, the thousands of little steps that built the foundation. You can build the same. Every small success is a seed, and when you water it with persistence, it grows into unstoppable confidence. Chapter 4. Face your fear. Build your confidence. Confidence does not come when life is easy. Confidence grows when you face fear and do it anyway. Every billionaire, every successful person, every leader you know today has faced fear. But instead of running away, they stood in front of fear, looked it in the eyes, and took action. That is how confidence is born. Let's look at Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. When Jeff had the idea for an online bookstore, he was working in a safe, high-paying job in New York. Everyone told him, "Don't do it. The internet is small. It is risky. You will fail." He was afraid too. Afraid to leave his good job. Afraid that Amazon would crash. Afraid that people would laugh at him. But he asked himself one question. When I am 80 years old, will I regret not trying? The answer was yes. So he faced his fear. He quit his job, started Amazon in a small garage, and worked day and night. His fear did not disappear, but by walking into the fear, he built unshakable confidence. That is why today, Amazon is one of the biggest companies in the world. Fear is like a shadow. The more you run from it, the bigger it looks. But when you walk toward it, you realize it is not as powerful as it seems. Confidence is built when you take one step into the darkness. Another story is about Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx and the first self-made female billionaire. Sarah was afraid of failure. She failed her law school test twice. She worked many small jobs that went nowhere, but her biggest fear was speaking in public. So what did she do? She joined a comedy class. She forced herself to speak in front of strangers and even make them laugh. At first it was scary. Her hands shook. Her voice cracked. But every time she faced that fear, she grew stronger. That small practice gave her the confidence later to stand in front of investors, sell her idea, and finally build a billion-dollar company. Confidence is not the absence of fear. Confidence is action in the presence of fear. Think about Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba. He was rejected more than 30 times from jobs. Even KFC rejected him. He applied to Harvard University 10 times and got rejected every single time. That rejection could have killed his spirit, but instead of hiding, he faced it. He laughed at his failures. He told himself, "Every no brings me closer to a yes." Over time, this fearless attitude built his confidence. Today, Jack Ma speaks to thousands of people with a smile, but that smile was built on years of facing fear and rejection. You can do the same. Maybe your fear is speaking English. Maybe your fear is starting a business. Maybe your fear is speaking to people. Remember, you don't have to remove fear to act. You only need to act while fear is in your heart. If you say one sentence in English today, even if you are shaking, that is confidence being born. If you record your first video, even if nobody watches, that is confidence growing. If you try one small business idea, even if it fails, that is confidence being built. Let me tell you something powerful. Fear is the classroom where confidence is taught. If you avoid fear, you avoid the lesson. If you face fear, you graduate into confidence. Every billionaire you admire once stood where you are, afraid, uncertain, unsure. What made them different is not talent, not luck, but the decision to act despite fear. So the rule is clear. Face your fear. Run toward it. Speak when you are nervous. Try when you are not ready. Fail and stand back up. Because every time you do, your fear becomes smaller and your confidence becomes bigger. One day you will look back and realize, I was afraid, but I did it anyway. That is how I became strong. That is the moment you will know you have built true confidence. Chapter 5. Believe in your vision even when others laugh. Confidence is not only about facing fear. It is also about standing strong when people doubt you. Many times, the world will not see what you see. People will laugh. People will say, "That's impossible." They will call you crazy, foolish, or even stupid. But if you believe in your vision, if you hold it tight, confidence grows stronger than any voice around you. Let's start with Elon Musk again. When he said he wanted to build rockets and send humans to Mars, most people laughed. They said, "Elon, you are not NASA. You are not a government. You cannot do this." In fact, after his first 3 rocket launches failed, even his closest people told him to stop. The world called him insane. But Elon believed in his vision. He said, "I would rather die than give up." That unshakable belief gave him confidence to try again, even when he had no money left. His 4th launch worked, and today, SpaceX is rewriting the future of space. If he had listened to laughter, SpaceX would not exist. But because he trusted his vision, he built not only rockets, but also unstoppable confidence. Think about Howard Schultz, the man who turned Starbucks into a global brand. In the 1980s, he believed in an idea that people would pay money not just for coffee, but for the experience of coffee. He believed in creating a place where people could gather, talk, and feel at home. When he shared this idea, investors laughed. They said, "Who will pay $3 for a cup of coffee? That is stupid." But Schultz held his vision. He traveled, knocked on doors, and begged investors until finally someone believed. He turned one small store into more than 30,000 Starbucks around the world. His confidence was not born from agreement. It was born from holding his vision when the world laughed. Another example is Colonel Harlan Sanders, the founder of KFC. He was 65 years old when he started his dream of selling fried chicken with his secret recipe. Imagine, an old man, broke, rejected, and people telling him he was too late in life to succeed. He knocked on more than 1,000 doors, offering his recipe. Over and over, people laughed, rejected, and said no. But he believed in his vision. He believed the world would love his chicken. That belief kept him moving. Finally, one person said yes, and KFC was born. Today, his face is on restaurants in almost every country in the world. His confidence came from his vision, not from the world's approval. This is the truth. If you want confidence, stop waiting for everyone to clap for you. If you wait for people to agree before you believe, you will never start. Confidence comes when you say, "I know they don't see it, but I see it, and I will keep going." Even in small things like learning English, this lesson is true. Maybe people laugh at your accent. Maybe friends tell you, "Why are you wasting time learning English?" But if you believe in your vision, that English will give you opportunities, that English will open doors, then you must keep going. Every new word you learn is a brick of confidence. Every sentence you speak, even if others laugh, is a sign that you believe in your vision more than their opinion. Here is something powerful. Confidence is not given by others. It is built by belief in yourself. When Steve Jobs came back to Apple in 1997, The company was almost dead. Many people thought Apple would disappear. Jobs stood in front of his team and said, "We are not just building computers, we are building tools for people who think differently." People laughed at the Think Different campaign, but Jobs believed in it. He believed Apple would change the world. That belief gave him confidence to fight. The result? Apple became the most valuable company on earth. So ask yourself, do you believe in your vision, or do you only move when others clap for you? Remember, the people who laugh at you today may one day work for you. The people who doubt you today may one day admire you. The people who say you are crazy today may one day say, "I always believed in you." Confidence grows when you learn to trust your vision more than the noise around you. When you wake up every morning and say, "I know they don't understand, but I do." And that is enough. The lesson of this chapter is simple but deep. Hold your vision. Protect it. Believe in it, even if you are the only one. Because that belief will give you the confidence to turn your dream into reality. Chapter 6. Confidence is built through failure and persistence. Many people think failure destroys confidence. They believe that if they fail, they will lose courage and never try again. But the truth is different. Confidence is not destroyed by failure. Confidence is created by failure if you refuse to quit. Every billionaire you admire has failed more times than you can imagine. They are confident today because they did not let failure define them. They turned failure into training. They turned rejection into fuel. They learned that persistence, the decision to keep going, is the mother of confidence. Let's look at the story of Thomas Edison, even though he lived before the modern billionaires. Edison is famous for inventing the electric light bulb. But do you know how many times he failed before he succeeded? More than 10,000 times. Imagine failing once, twice, 10 times, 100 times. Most people would quit. But Edison did not. When people asked him why he didn't stop, he said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That mindset, turning failure into lessons, made him confident. By the time the light bulb finally worked, his confidence was stronger than any man's doubt. Now look at Elon Musk again. Before Tesla became a success, it almost died. The company ran out of money. Cars were not being produced on time. Journalists were calling Tesla a joke. Investors were angry. Elon himself said he thought Tesla would fail, but he did not stop. He put in his last personal money, even when he was broke, to keep Tesla alive. He said, "If something is important enough, you should try, even if the probable outcome is failure." Because he persisted, Tesla survived. And because he failed many times and got back up, his confidence today is unshakable. Think about Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba. His story is one of the greatest examples of persistence. As I shared earlier, he was rejected again and again. But let's go deeper. Jack Ma tried to enter university 3 times and failed. He applied to 30 different jobs. He was rejected every single time. Even when he started Alibaba, his company almost went bankrupt. But Jack Ma refused to quit. He once said, "Never give up. Today is hard. Tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine." His confidence was not built by success at first. His confidence was built by standing up after failure again and again. Another powerful story is J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, who later became a billionaire. Before her books were famous, she was a single mother, broke, and living on welfare. She wrote her story in small cafes, often while her baby slept. When she finished her first book, she sent it to publishers. Do you know what happened? 12 publishers rejected her. They said the story was not good. They said children would not read it. She felt crushed, but she did not quit. She kept sending her manuscript until one small publisher finally said yes. The book exploded, and Harry Potter became one of the most successful series in history. J.K. Rowling once said, "Failure meant a stripping away of the inessential. It taught me things about myself that I could not have learned any other way." Her failure gave her confidence. Now think about this. If billionaires and great creators faced failure hundreds or thousands of times, why are we afraid of one small failure? Why do we stop when we hear one no? Failure is not the end of confidence. Failure is the beginning of confidence. Every time you fail, you grow tougher. Every time you get rejected, your skin becomes stronger. Every time you fall and rise, your heart learns that you can survive anything. Persistence is the secret. Look at Walt Disney. Before he built Disneyland, he was fired from a newspaper job because they said he lacked imagination. His first company went bankrupt. Many bankers told him his dream of Disneyland was foolish, but he persisted. He kept drawing, kept creating, kept believing. When Disneyland finally opened in 1955, it became one of the happiest places on earth. His failures built his persistence. His persistence built his confidence. So here is the lesson. Don't run from failure. Don't fear rejection. See failure as your teacher. See persistence as your weapon. Confidence grows, not when everything is easy, but when everything is hard and you keep moving forward. Maybe you are failing to learn English right now. Maybe you forget words, make mistakes, or feel embarrassed when you speak. That is not the end. That is the beginning. Every mistake is teaching you. Every wrong sentence is training your brain. Every time you continue, even when you feel tired, you are building persistence. And that persistence is creating your confidence. Remember this truth. Confidence is not built in comfort. It is built in struggle. The world's most confident people are not those who never fell, but those who fell 1,000 times and refused to stay down. So, never quit. If you fail today, try again tomorrow. If you fall 7 times, stand up 8. Because every time you rise, you are not the same person anymore. You are stronger, wiser, and more confident. Chapter 7. Confidence is a lifestyle, not just a skill. Confidence is not something you use only once in a while. It is not only for speeches, not only for interviews, not only for business. True confidence is a lifestyle. It becomes part of who you are every single day. It is in the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you dream, and the way you keep going no matter what happens. Let's look at the story of Richard Branson, the billionaire founder of Virgin Group. Richard was not a top student. In fact, he struggled with dyslexia, a condition that made reading and writing very hard for him. Many teachers told him he would never succeed. But Richard turned confidence into a lifestyle. He believed in trying new things, even if they were risky. He started a magazine, then an airline, then many other businesses. Sometimes he failed, but he never stopped believing that he could try again. Even today, people admire him not just for his money, but for his fearless and confident way of living life. His confidence is not a tool, it is his lifestyle. The same is true for Oprah Winfrey. Her confidence is not only on the stage when she speaks. Her confidence is in the way she lives, how she makes decisions, how she stands up for herself, how she continues to grow and help others. That is why people trust her. Because her confidence is not temporary. It is who she is. So, what does this mean for you? It means you don't need to put on confidence like a jacket only when you need it. You must live confidence every day. When you speak English, live with confidence, even if you make mistakes. When you go to work, live with confidence, even if the task is small. When you dream about your future, live with confidence, even if nobody else believes. Confidence as a lifestyle means you carry it everywhere, in every situation. And here is the secret. When confidence becomes your lifestyle, people feel it. They see it in your eyes. They hear it in your voice. And they believe in you, even before you succeed. That is the magic of confidence. It attracts opportunities. It opens doors. It gives you energy when others are tired. Confidence as a lifestyle is not about shouting, not about showing off, not about pretending. True confidence is quiet. It is calm. It says, I know who I am. I know where I am going. I may fail, but I will rise again. I may be doubted, but I will believe in myself. That is real confidence. Now let's connect this to you as an English learner. Every day you study English, you are not just learning words. You are building a lifestyle of confidence. Every sentence you say out loud is proof that you are brave. Every mistake you make and correct is proof that you are growing. Every time you listen, read, and practice, you are not only learning a language, you are training your mind to live with confidence. And this lifestyle will not only help you speak English, it will help you succeed in life, in money, in relationships, and in your dreams. So, my dear friend, remember this. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you create, step by step, day by day. Confidence comes from small wins, from facing fear, from holding your vision, from failing and standing up again, and finally, from living it every single day until it becomes part of you. This is the message of today's episode. This is what the billionaires and leaders teach us, not by words, but by their lives. If they can build confidence starting from zero, so can you. If they can live a life of confidence and purpose, so can you. And this is just the beginning. On this channel, Fuel for English and Life, you will not only learn English, but you will also learn the mindset, the confidence, and the skills to live your best life. Because language is power, but confidence is freedom. So if you found value in this video, make sure you like it to show your support. Comment below with your thoughts and dreams. And of course, subscribe to Fuel for English and Life for more deep lessons that will help you grow in both English and life. Your future is waiting. Your confidence is waiting. And together we will build it, step by step. Stay strong, stay confident, and always keep your fire alive. This is Fuel for English and Life. See you in the next episode.